I think last year, I'm not sure how many of you looked at IDC, but that desktop report, which has been surprising. Despite the growth which we are seeing on the mobile side, which is largely the tablets and laptops, desktop were more than 44% worldwide, in both consumer as well as business included. Which means that there is still a strong use case of desktops as a PC or as a computer. That is one. What we are seeing is that the manufacturing industry, which is PC manufacturers, are also doing their own value add to the whole form factor, or to keep the excitement on. What Intel has done at the back end is we have not stopped innovating the desktop. We have actually made it more, on one side, more powerful, which is in our DNA, but also to make it more innovative, to make sure that it caters to different flavors of needs, it caters to different, I would say, verticals of usage models, as well as to different types of users. Those users who are in gaming segment totally differ from the users who are in the, say, for example, workstation segment. Right. Similarly, those who are at home, they would like to prefer their desktop to look in a different specific way. They would like to interact more with desktop like they interact with any other device, which is through gestures and voice. So starting 5th generation Core onwards, which we launched very recently, what we have done is we have brought the human-machine interface to almost all 5th generation computers, which includes laptops primarily in the beginning, and as we gradually proceed towards the second half of the year, we'll see the desktops as well evolving on 5th generation Core. And this essentially gives us the ability to interact with PC with gestures, so which is a new thing. We call it the Intel RealSense technology. At the same time, the PC, we can interact with our PC with voice. So, and voice becomes a password. So good news is that for those who are carrying like tens of passwords every day, one for your logon, one for your boot, one for your remote access, one for your Active Directory, one for your printer, and God knows how many. Good news is that all those can be single voice password, and the PC is now able to recognize the voice, specific frequencies, the way you say it. So my password could be as simple as "Good morning, I'm on my desk, let's start." Okay, this is my password. So we are seeing those kind of innovations now coming into the PC space. With 5th generation Core, obviously it first enters into laptops first, two-in-ones, and then gradually into the desktop. What we are seeing as an innovation is beyond this. I think the use cases which we are looking at are plenty, and people are innovating desktops or I would say PCs in a very, very different manner, in different walks of life. So some of the new usage models are also triggered by the fact that the PCs are, as we all know, are no more used only in offices. They are used in places where we didn't imagine them earlier. So for example, your bank kiosk today is actually a PC. Your smart signage when you walked into a Terminal 3 of Delhi airport, on your right and left, there are some like 54-inch panels, which not many people know, which could be actually a PC triggered device. And the form factors which we are seeing evolving are as small as this. This is essentially a full-blown PC, Core i3 based, can take 16 gigabytes of RAM, can be hooked up with two displays simultaneously of plasma, like these two. So it can drive two displays in parallel. Traditionally USB ports, remote, so you can operate this with your remote. And obviously for you on the desk usage models, you have your headphones and microphones, etc. So we are seeing, this is called NUC, or next unit of computing. This is now available with almost all leading OEMs, and including the channel white box players. So there was also a speculation that is the channel dying? The answer is no. So we see that for our value-added resellers and system integrators, there is a new set of devices which are, this is again, the complete box comes in as Intel. So it's a Intel inside, Intel outside, or you can say a white box, which essentially is made for channels, for them to position this into at homes, as enterprises, at different places which are industrial grade applications as well. And because of this, what we are seeing is different types of use cases now evolving for traditionally what was known as PC.
Okay.
So I'll probably pick some use cases as examples. So one of the use cases at home could be that center of your digital world, wherein, because the fact that this can be now be plugged in directly to your high-end display, which could be your Sony's and Samsung's of the world. But the fact that you can remotely, with the remote keyboard and mouse, you can operate this. You can keep your data, you can keep your music, you can pictures or your movies all inside this, and you can watch them on a larger TV. The good news is that this also comes with a wireless display, which means that I need not hook on all my wires to the large display. All it needs is essentially a display adapter on the screen side, and this device could be sitting anywhere within the 10 feet range of that large screen, and I can operate this with a wireless keyboard mouse. So that is a use case at home wherein you can stream, and this comes with the Wi-Fi and both as wired connectivity. So the internet content which is actually streaming into this can actually stream onto your large screen as well, and that technology is called WiDi, W-I-D-I. So wireless display has been shipping into laptops for a long time, almost 3 years now. And with NUC and with this category of devices is called mini PC.
Okay.
So mini PCs today is something which is a in thing, I would say, for almost all large OEMs, which includes Acer, HP, Lenovo, Dell, you name it. And I'll probably show you some models on the screen, the ones which have been recently launched there in the market. So you can buy it from your favorite channel player, or you can buy it also at certain online retail stores as well, as Intel NUC. But the fact is, along with the larger set of OEMs, now we have various options available for this as well. So one use case is at home. The second use case could be even a smart signage. So most of the time these days the signage have to have a content which is broadcasted over the Wi-Fi from a central server. And depending on the audience which I am catering to, my signage can display different types of contents, right? So this essentially becomes the backbone of any digital signage, and the cost of the signage goes drastically down. So any smart signage is above 5 lakhs today in terms of rupees. The fact is, you can have any size of your choice, 32-inch LED or a 40-inch LED or a 54-inch LED. And behind all LEDs you have this Visa slot. This goes in there, and now it is capable of receiving content from a content server over a Wi-Fi. So effectively that's a new use case which we are actively looking at, and some of the test cases have been very, very successful in the POC stage. So we are seeing that there is a parallel set of market which was earlier erstwhile served by consumer electronic devices, now being served by such devices. So for channel it becomes that's an opportunity. It is something which is a given today. What people are looking at are two different things. One is a use case wherein my mobile device could become my center of my digital world, whether I'm at content consumption, which is largely driven by video consumptions, audio consumptions or so. But then there is a second aspect which is content creation, wherein I would need something which is more handy like a PC, more ergonomic like a PC, more easy to work with like a PC, where I don't need a retraining to be done. And that is what necessitates that you cannot have the tower sitting with you all the time, right? So the PC has to, so these days there is a slogan which is all the power without the tower. Okay, so this is what we are looking at. So all the power without the tower, wherein how to make it more innovative, more user friendly. The fact that anybody who's not an engineer but should be able to hook it onto a TV and then start working. So that's the innovation of content creation essentially, which keeps us moving. That okay, make the PC more exciting and more user friendly going forward. What we are seeing as innovation, for example, is I'm sure this year you would have already started seeing on kiosks, would be the touch-based curved PCs. So there was last year the curved plasmas were launched, curved LEDs, and we see that same innovation now getting into the PC space. So the PC now is becoming a hybrid innovation of consumer electronics on one side and mobility on the other side. So we are seeing those features which people like on their consumer devices, like a curved PC, a large screen. We are seeing curved AIOs, all-in-ones, now available starting this year by all leading PC OEMs or even leading LED OEMs. So which means that the TV which I was using as a 40-inch curved media is also now my PC, and it is touch enabled. So it's like having a big large tablet though, but then there are many applications which people are now, which I would say ISVs are now developing, which are very intuitive to have touch, voice and gesture as an interface. I'll give you a very simple example. I think most of us who graduated from science still remember that icky experience of dissecting a cockroach, right, or a frog. Not needed anymore. Okay, we don't need to cut a frog to basically see the insides. There are ISVs who are developing 3D enabled touch based and gesture based biology applications, and all you need to do is like this to open, dissect, either by gesture or by touch. So you are not necessarily dissecting a frog, but you are actually having a video which is interactive, and that interaction can be by gestures or by touch. So depending on how far the screen is, we are seeing those kind of applications now being developed. Similarly, the games which are these days developed are already gesture enabled, touch, voice or gestures. Most of the applications we see which people want to play today are touch based, because again, courtesy to tablets and phones, they are so used to touch as interface that it has taken away that difficulty of knowing English and then only you can operate a PC, right? So which means that it will become more intuitive and simple to work with the PC. You throw a tablet to a 3-year-old, and I think that 3 days later you will realize that he or she knows more features than you, right? So intuition is the name of the game, and that is what we will keep pursuing on the PC side as well. Innovation is available today at all levels, at all price points, starting entry-level price points which are like sub 25,000 rupees, ranging up till the highest of the ones which are like 80,000 and plus. So the range of the innovation is not bound by range now. I think and the fact of the matter is that the best of the smartphones and tablets today are under 20,000 rupees today. Again, courtesy to innovation, courtesy to competition, that we are now getting these things available. And the same applies to PCs as well, that wherein it's the innovation which starts at very entry level, like a stick PC going in at a specific price point, and then followed by a NUC which is equal or better in price point as compared to traditional PCs. So coming back to your question, it's not India, I think everywhere else in the world as well. We'll always have a segment of market which is developing, where aspirations overrule applications, and there will be developed countries where applications overrule aspirations, right? We are on this side of the world. So which means that if tablet is an aspiration today, you give a youth a tablet, he feels more happy than giving him a watch, right? In our side of the story, in our days, meaning when we got our first watch, it was a moment of pride. But you now give a youngster a tablet, it's because so the aspiration is something which we are also equally evaluating, that while making things more innovative, let's not make them so expensive that they're unaffordable. So affordability has to go hand in hand with innovation.